Okay, today we're going over the Bullet 258 RKS. Start off at the front here, you have your jack. There's the light on there if you're hooking up at night, you need to be able to see, and then you have extend and retract to bring that jack up and down. Behind the jack is going to be your propane tanks. They'll be stored in here. Twist left to open them, twist to the right to close them. If you get a convenience package, those will be filled. Back here is where your battery is going to go when it's installed. It'll sit on this metal rack here, and then the red and black ends will plug onto it. This red switch here is your battery disconnect. When the battery's hooked up, if you haven't flipped the power on, then the battery power will be going to the unit. If you want to cut the power off, just twist it to off. And then if you want to take the cover off your battery, switch it to cover off. You also have a plug for the Zamp solar kit here if you wanted to add an additional solar panel on the side here to charge your batteries. Pass-through storage in the front here. Keys are here. Purple keys are going to be for your main door, and then the gray keys will unlock your compartments. Got your outside shower hose here that plugs in there. You have your solar charge controller in here, which is just regulating how much solar is taken in so that it doesn't overcharge the batteries. It knows if your battery needs to be charged, it'll send power to it. If it doesn't need anything, then it's going to know that it doesn't need any more power. In here is the water bay. So up top we have your freshwater connection and your city water connection. So if you're staying somewhere that has direct hookup, you're going to use the city connection. Take your hose, screw it into here, and then hook it up to the spigot, turn the water on, and that's going to start running water into your water lines and run water to the faucets, toilets, sinks, water heater, all that good stuff. If the campground has bad pressure, or wherever you're staying has bad pressure, you're going to have bad pressure inside. But typically campgrounds are pushing high pressure, so it's a good idea to get a water pressure regulator to reduce the PSI so that your water lines don't get blown out. Then you have the fresh water connection. If you don't have direct water hookup, this is what you're going to use. You're going to fill your fresh tank up from here. So you take the cap off, put your hose in, turn the water on, and then that's going to start filling the fresh tank. Your fresh tank drain is this blue hose right here. Just make sure that's in a closed position so that the water doesn't drain out. But that water is going to start filling. You can watch how full it is by checking your tank level monitors inside so that you know when it's full you can turn that water off. Once that tank is full, you use your water pump, turn it on. That'll pump water from the fresh tank and run it into your faucets, sinks, showers, water heater, all that good stuff. Then this one on the left here is your black tank flush. Your black tank is the holding tank for your toilet. And the black tank flush shoots water into that tank to help rinse it out when you're draining it. So when you're draining that black tank, hook a hose into here, turn that water on, and it's going to start shooting water into the black tank to help rinse the sidewalls off. Then we have your satellite and cable connections there, and then your front and rear stabilizer up and down switches here. So you just hold, extend, and you can see them start to go down. They kind of go down one side at a time, so once one foot hits the ground, then the other one will start moving. Sometimes they go down simultaneously, which they are right now. But once they hit the ground, and we just let go of the button, and you're stable. And then you'll do the rear. Not sure if you can see it from over here. But you can hear them. We'll go over these two switches later when I cover winterizing. Back here is your first set of sewer drain. You have a black and a gray. Black again is the toilet tank, and then gray is your sinks and your showers. Pull those to open them and push them in to close them. And then those two hoses sticking out on the right side there are your low point drains. The low points for your hot and your cold water line. You'll use those for winterizing, so I will go over those when I cover the winterizing process. Tires will be filled, lug nuts will be checked, tightened down. You have your furnace exhaust here. It does get hot if you're running the furnace, so if you have young ones, make sure they know not to touch that because they'll get burned. Then you have your power cord plugging in right here, 30 amp service. Just a twist and then lock it on with this collar here, flop that down, and then you're hooked up. Back here is the water heater. Before you turn your water on, you're gonna have to put this drain cap in right down here. Put it on with a 1 1/16 socket. Once that's on nice and tight, you go ahead, run water from your city or from your fresh connection, and then this hot water tank is gonna start to fill up. Once this tank is full, water will start coming out of the hot side of your sink. While you're waiting for this to be full, leave your hot taps open. That way any air pressure that builds up in here is going to get let out while it fills up. But then once you see that water coming out, you can go ahead and turn it on. I'll show you the switches when we go inside. And then there's some things you have to do with this winterizing, but I'll also show you that later. Got your ladder back here, 250 pounds capacity. There is a backup camera connection up there. If you wanted to purchase a backup camera, you can talk to your salesman about that. Spare tire on the back. Slide out. 2 outlets back here and a cable satellite hookup if you wanted to put a TV outside. Your steps fold up into the door frame of your unit. You pick them up, knock them in with that little twist there. To adjust the leg height, pull the pins and you can slide these legs up and down. When adjusting leg height, just make sure that you have this piece of metal as flush as possible with this piece of metal. That way when this door is closing, this black metal here doesn't hit on your stairs and then bend that black metal. You don't want that. And then the door will close a lot easier as well if you have it lined up correctly. Outside speakers are up there. And then here's the other side of that pass-through. You got your manual jack cranks as well as the jack crank for this front jack. If this were to ever go out electrically, you'll take this rubber grommet off and then you can crank it up and down. With all that, we'll head inside. Ready to walk in. Got your panel. So you have the slide out, in and out switch right here. So if you wanted it to come in, you'll just hold the in switch. You see it start moving. But we'll go back out. And once it stops moving, we let go of the switch. Next to that is the awning extend retract switch. So if I hold extend, see that awning is going to start to come out. You can have it go out with the slide out. It won't hit it. And once that white valance is facing straight down like that, that's how you know your awning's all the way out. To pitch these awnings, you just pull down on the arm here, and that will have the water run off the front. You can also pitch the arm in the back if you wanted the water to run off back there. But that's what it looks like all the way out. Switches up here, you have your ceiling light switch here. Porch light is the light that runs along the top of your awning there, the LED switch there. Water pump switch for drawing from your fresh tank to pump to your faucets. Then you have your LP gas or electric switches for your water heater. So once that water heater is full and you have water coming out of the hot taps of your sink, you can turn it on. For the gas, make sure your gas supply is open in the front. Flip it. It has an igniter on it. It will light itself. 10 to 15 minutes, you'll have hot water. And then the electric water heater switch, flip it. 10 to 15 minutes, you'll have hot water. If you're plugged in, I would just use the electric one. It's going to save you propane. Other than that, if your water's hot and you're using the propane, you can just turn that back off. Otherwise, you're just going to be wasting your propane. And then always make sure that these switches are off if there's no water in your water heater, because that can melt the plastic water lines if you leave it on with no water in there. These black buttons up here are those tank level readers I was talking about earlier. So as your fresh tank fills, press the fresh button, and as it fills, those red lights will come on until it gets to full. Same thing for the blacks and the gray tanks. Battery switch is right there. It's going to read full all the time if your unit's plugged in, so if you want an accurate reading, unplug the unit. Down at my feet there is the carbon monoxide and LP gas detector. That does draw off the batteries when the unit isn't plugged in. So if you don't want the battery to die, take the negative end off your battery. Even the disconnect is still not going to cut power to this. It's hardwired in there. This is your thermostat mode. It's going to flip through your different settings, so you have furnace or air conditioner or just the fan. Once you get to the mode you want to use, temperature up and down, and then that adjusts the fan speed. So you can hear that AC cranking. But furnace is next. You can hear it kick on under the fridge there. When you turn the furnace off, it'll go through a cool down cycle so it doesn't shut down right away. Fire extinguisher will be right there when you purchase. You got your theater seats here. They do recline by pulling the black pull levers tucked on the side of the seats there. They do lift up with some storage. there and there. Then we got the dinette folded into the bed configuration right now. You'll just take these cushions, prop them up here and here. That exposes your table. And then you just lift up. And now you're in the dinette. And then you just have to lock it down by flipping this bar. That way it doesn't go back down on you. Then we got the kitchen area. Burner stove. Flip the glass up. Up on this is going to be your panel light. Down on it is going to be the panel and the oven light. Middle is no lights. To light these, you're going to push in on your selected burner, twist to the left, and then give a spark to the right. That will ignite right there. You can do that for each individual burner. You can do them all at the same time as well. These turn red where there's gas going through the line. Otherwise, when they're turned off, there's no lights. For the oven, push in, turn to this little flame mark here, and then you open it up. And then you also have to watch and wait for it to light. You use the same igniter for that as well. That usually takes up to 5 minutes. It takes a while to push the air out of the gas line. Hold this down for travel. You don't want that to shatter on you. You have your fan and your light. Microwaves are self-explanatory. Start and stop. You got pop-up outlets here. Just be gentle with these. If you slam them down, they do tend to break the spring mechanism, and then they won't push down nicely into your countertop like that anymore. You got your blinds, sink, fuse box is down here, as well as your breakers. Everything's labeled so you know what each one does. It is good to take extra fuses with you just in case. You wouldn't want to be without power to something if you were to blow one. Just try to limit yourself to as little appliances as possible at a time so that you don't blow any fuses. You have your TV here. This does swing open, expose a little storage behind there. Go with the fridge. This is a 12-volt fridge, so it runs off the battery when you're driving and then it draws power from that 30-amp service when you're plugged in. Fridge and freezer. Temperature adjustment is up here. Just twist the dial to whatever you want. And that controls the fridge and the freezer, and then the travel lock is right there to keep that from swinging open while you're driving. Heat is going to run through the floors. AC is going to run through the ceiling vents. Just make sure with these floor vents you don't put the full weight of your foot on them, because you can bend them and then they break. You might fall through the floor. That's never good. You got your shower here. When driving, make sure that that rubber latch is on there so these don't slide around and break on you. Toilet is a pedal flush. Step on the pedal down there to flush it. Then you got your GFCI in here. If you need to reset your outlets, just press the reset. Light switch on the wall. Then we have your bedroom. Nothing really confusing in here. Just with your blinds, push out, and then exit window. Pull this latch, push it out. If you want to have it open, you can just latch it there to escape, push it all the way through, and then pull the red tab here to take the screen out. Bed lifts up to expose a little bit of storage under there. Opening that up just as a manual twist, and then the fan above your shower. There's a little black switch in the corner, and that will turn that fan on. Smoke alarms on the ceiling. That'll have a fresh battery in when you buy. But other than that, I think we're going to go over the winterizing process now. All right, let's go over winterizing now. So on this unit, you have a winterizing inlet right here. You're going to turn this to bypass, which is on right now. And then you're going to turn the winterize to on. That changes where the water pump draws from, so it's not going to draw from your fresh tank. It's going to draw from this end right here. So you'll hook a hose into here and then run it into a jug of antifreeze, and then turn your water pump on inside, and it's going to pump from that jug to your faucets. You'll run antifreeze through all the faucets, down all the drains, including your shower and your toilet, and then you'll come to your low point drains and run those until it's completely pink coming out of there. Once you've got no bubbles and no water and it's just pink coming out, that way, that's how you know you've gotten antifreeze through the entire system. Just make sure afterwards that you have drained your tanks out here and that your fresh tank is also drained as well. You don't want to leave those full, and you don't want those to crack on you. You'll also make sure you drain your water heater out as well. So your cap will be on like that, and then you'll let the pressure off with this pressure release valve here. and then you'll unscrew the cap with your 1 1/16 socket, and all of the water in your water heater is just going to spill over the side. And since your bypass is on, no more antifreeze is going to get in here anyways. So once all that's finished, your unit is winterized. To de-winterize the unit, you're just going to hook into your city water connection, turn the water on, and run water through all your faucets, down all your drains until there's no pink left. You'll open those low point drains up down there, run it until there's no pink coming out of there. I do that 3 to 4 times just to make sure you've purged the whole system, and then you're all set to go. All right, with all that said, thank you for your purchase. If you have any questions, concerns, make sure you contact the service department or your salesman, depending on which point you are at in the purchasing process. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.